So, what do you think separates a truly high performer for someone who is above average? What allows someone to do something really hard, difficult, and challenging with a smile on their face? There's one thing that separates all of those who have lived a life of no regrets versus those who are resentful, bitter, frustrated, and living a mediocre life. It's simple. It's living a life from the state of energy of need versus desire. In today's episode, I'm going to show you how the difference between the two exists and give you some tactical ways to shift into your true desire so that your presence and performance in your life is truly at the caliber that you know is possible for you. Welcome to Whole Human Capacity. Mind, body, emotions, spirit, all in alignment. This show is for the high achievers who are done living in hustle, done running on stress, and ready for ambition without having to give up what your heart truly desires. Here we'll talk about what it means to live life as a whole human, how your nervous system, your inner knowing, and your daily choices all work together, and how to build a life that actually feels like yours, not just one that looks good on paper. Hi, I'm Erica Resch, a retired family physician, a mom of three, and a life coach who has built my life around what I refuse to regret. Hi. So, what does separate the greats, the elite athletes, those that function in this life in a way that is, just you can see there's a different bar set? It's very simple. It's language. It is the language and the language patterns they use throughout their day, throughout their life. And to me, I love patterns. I love when patterns become visible to me. It's kind of like my gift. I see patterns and I can track them. They're like math equations in my head. And when you really start to understand that there's not much difference necessarily between someone who is performing at their highest level, living life in the way they really, really want to live, versus someone who's not. It's very simple. It's language. There's an entry point here that's available to all of us. It's not some exotic thing that only is available to certain people or not. It's available to everybody. Everyone has the capacity for language. We are humans. We have a human brain. And everyone has the capacity to live a life that is all out, amazing, really above anything they could have ever imagined. And here's the way to enter into that. Here today, we're going to talk about what it takes, how to do it, really being able to see where you're at and where you want to go. And I love this kind of topic to talk about because I love listening to documentaries, to interviews of elite athletes, to reading business articles. I love being in the space with my clients where I'm able to get into their brain, to see what they're thinking, to study them. These are people who are truly high-performing individuals who just want more, who want to be above where they're at now. And I watch and I study how they live, what they say, what they do. And here's the common thread. The common thread that I pick up that is common for all of us, right? That any of us can latch onto, can develop the skill, can become the person who has this capability. It's this ability to drop into the state of flow. And I believe the language that we're speaking to ourselves is what dictates the ability to do that. It is the entry point. It's the pathway in. And it's the roadmap, right? Our language is roadmap. With every word we say, we are laying down a brick. We are laying down a stone in our path. And so we get to choose those words. Many times we don't really understand that we're not. Many times we're living on default mode, on automatic mode, and the words just come out based upon our previous experience of our life, everything in our culture, where we've been, all of the things, whatever makes up that computer software that's in our head right now, so to speak. However, we really, really have the potent ability to dictate what kind of roadmap we want, what our path looks like. And it comes from the words that we speak internally to ourselves and our thoughts, and also externally when we speak it into the world. So words carry vibration. They carry meaning. They carry energy with them. Think about it. You can say a word and feel it in your body. You can also feel when somebody else says something to you. There's also, the development of the tone behind the word. There's the actual energetic signature of the word. So here we have such great power at our disposal. This thing that we do all the time. We're either speaking or listening to someone speak, someone sing, right? Some type of language coming at us. We're reading the written word. And this is like one of these tools that I really think we were divinely given that we just don't understand how to use at its maximum capability. And those who have really risen to the top of their profession, who really, you can say like they live life all out. This is one of the skills, in my opinion, that they've mastered, that they've taken a hold of, that they've said, wow, I was given this awesome opportunity. Let's take full advantage of this awesome opportunity of language, of using words in a way that completely serve me in my highest capacity for me and for those around me. And when we really take a step back and look at that, when we really, really honor, it really does show us that we have everything we need in our disposal right here, right now, within us to have the life that we truly desire, to live with the presence that we truly desire. So there are three main words that we're going to talk about today that I believe separate everything in our life. And those three words are very simple. It's need versus want versus desire. When I meet clients, usually in their journey, they're at the place where a lot of their life is dictated by the word need. I would also say need has different shades to it, different flavors to it. It could be have to, need to, must, should, where these words are what's really driving a lot of their language, their thought process. I need to get to work on time. I need to get the kids out the door. I need to get the dishes done. I need to get the grocery store. I have to clean up. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to get my workout in. Right? Everything is coming from this energy. And if you can even sense it as I'm talking right now, it's a very tight energy. It's a very narrow band of energy. To me, it feels like tunnel vision, like the tunnel vision we get into when we are in true fight or flight, when we are in survival mode. Need to, have to, should, for me, for the most part. I think we can lean on those words at different times, but 99% of the time, when we're saying those words, we probably are in an energy of survival, of fight or flight, of really narrowing down the band of the bandwidth of life that we're experiencing right now, of our emotional capacity, of our mental capacity or spiritual capacity, and I would even honor our physical capacity. If we say, I have to get my workout in, I'm going to bank your ability and how far you go in your workout or whatever metrics you're using, whether it's lifting weights or going a distance or how you feel during your workout, is going to be drastically different than if you use maybe a different word like want or desire that we'll get to in a minute. Need, this desire to need, this word need carries energy behind it that for me, when I'm in with a client and I'm in their space and even in my own body, it feels very superficial. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of depth underneath it to me. It does not feel grounded or rooted like all the way into the earth, all the way into all of our energy that's available to us. Now, for many of us, we have been very successful living in the energy of need and have to and should and all of those words. And we have created lives that on paper look amazing. There's a six-figure salary. There's these jobs, these titles, right? The cars and whatever else there is. Like that can be created from the energy of need. And there's nothing wrong with that. What I find happens is that we actually end up coming to a limit where no longer does that language work anymore. Meaning we want something greater. We want something more. We see, we vision, we feel, we want a deeper connection with our kids. And the more we say the word need, the more frustrated we get because we're not seeing the energy we're putting out actually give us a return on our investment. And I really believe that's because we're in survival mode. And in survival mode, there's only one outcome that we're looking for, that you stay in the familiar, you stay safe, and you stay doing the same thing you've always done. So if you're trying to do something different, these words are not going to compute, right? This language, this energetic signature, this equation of language is not going to bring you what you really, really want, what you know is possible. And so when we get here, we have to really honor that need serves the purpose for most of us of completing a dopamine cycle. There's a lot of instant gratification in the word need. Need to do the dishes get done, my body relaxes because the dopamine cycle is complete. Dishes are done. Okay, check that off the box, right? it is not necessarily the what you're doing, it's the how you're doing it in the energy of the word need, of have to, of got to, of should, of must. And so this place is a place where I think we stay stuck. I really do. I've seen it time and time again. I think it's also a place where we can buffer, where we can sit in a paralyzed mode, not moving forward on anything because everything feels so important in the word need, right? Everything is very, very important, from getting the beds made to the groceries done to the kids off to the whatever you have to do at work done. Like, it's so important. But if I was really going to ask you, like, what is the thing you value in your life? What is the thing that you truly don't ever want to give up? I guarantee you the dishes aren't on the list. Probably even what you're doing at work isn't on the list. It's probably something along the lines of time with my kids or playing with them or actually being in a state where I'm rested and I feel really good. None of the things that the word need makes feel really, really important are actually really, really important to us for the most part. Like I said, there are times where that does serve us, where we need that energy. But if you really, really study like the 24 hours of your day and really play with this, I'm wondering if you're going to find a similar conclusion to what I have found in my experience. So if we want to move into a different way of being, if we want to move forward, then the next step, the next rung up the ladder is the word want, in my opinion. This is where we start asking ourselves, what do I want to do? What would I like to do? Would I like to do the dishes? Do I want to do the dishes? Or we say it differently, I want to do the dishes, right? Where the energy starts shifting. And even if you can feel in my body, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see in my body language, things are shifting. My shoulders drop a little bit. My heart opens up a little bit. Suddenly I'm starting to be like, okay, I matter here, right? Well, my humanness matters here. In the word need, have to, should, must, really what we're saying is I don't matter. Like, I don't matter. like what I really want and what I really desire doesn't even matter. Like, these things just have to get done no matter what. And so we end up putting ourselves on the back burner. We shove everything down. We don't look at anything that's truly in our life. We don't feel emotion and we just go. When we step into the word want or like to, right? We start to be like, hey, wait a minute. I actually have a say here. I matter. And when we do that, what happens is the body starts to relax and feel a little bit safer. The bandwidth of experience starts to broaden a little bit. Our emotional capacity increases a little bit. Our ability and our tolerance for things that may not go the way we planned starts to get a little bit better, right? We might not have these hard, rigid boundaries that we have to hold so much to keep up the words need and want and have to. Those come with very rigid boundaries. There's a very strict box that we live in when we are in that energy. And if stuff in your day doesn't go the way you want, when you're living in need energy, for me at least, it tends to flip me out. It tends to spin me out. I tend to be like, man, that shouldn't have happened. And you start blaming things. And then you start getting this spiral and this cycle that is so not productive and helpful. When we are in the energy of want, we can tolerate that a little bit. We have a little bit of give. There's a little bit of give and take. Like, okay, we'll just do it this way this time. And there's a little bit more ease and shifting in your day. It's just like your body is if you're doing a workout or you're moving or you're doing something and you're like, let's say you're running on a trail and something's in your path and you got to jump over a branch, or maybe there's a big puddle, you got to go around it. Suddenly you're not like, man, there's a puddle in the trail. That's kind of need energy. Want energy is like, oh, okay, I'll go around it. Right? Like, that's fascinating. When we can start living in that energy, we have a different experience of life. We start to shift from instant satisfaction, right? That dopamine hit, that buffering cycle, into starting to see a little bit more of the bigger picture. Like, yeah, I kind of do want to get the dishes done because I really like when I come home from work today to have a clean house. Like, that feels good to me. We start making choices that feel loving to ourselves, not just out of necessity. And when we do that, can you see I'm already layering one other layer on top, one other layer of connection on top of the statement. So the language now has a little bit more breadth, a little bit more depth. If we take on the analogy of the path that we're laying down with the bricks and the stones, instead of laying one brick at a time, which is kind of that need, have to energy, I'm laying 3 or 4. I'm laying 3 or 4 at a time. I'm starting to see where I'm going ahead of schedule. I'm starting to see the vision, the tracking, the plan, right? This becomes much more energetically efficient to us in how we live our life. We do not come through our day with the depletion when we get to the end of the day of exhaustion. I would argue that for most of us, when we come home, quote unquote, from work and we're exhausted and we are dead tired and we've got nothing left to give or whatever words come out of our mouth, most of the time that's coming from the fact that we are in need energy. I need to, I have to. We're booking at a pace that moves not at our natural cadence. We're approaching everything from instant importantness, right, of the need have to versus that gentle kind of like, okay, I can go with the flow a little bit. I can be there. The amount of energy expended to be in need energy is significant. And it's subterranean. I don't know the right word to use. It's subconscious, it's subliminal, it's underneath the surface. You're not going to feel it openly, outwardly, until you start really getting into your body and you start really paying attention to the difference, right? But what ends up happening, the end game result is exhaustion, is tired, is disconnection from the things you love, is not doing what you really, really wanted to do today. Maybe you wanted to come home and get a really good workout in, but you come home and your body's so tired and your brain's just exhausted. And so you're like, maybe tomorrow. And then what does that create? It creates a cycle of shame. It creates a cycle of blame. That's when we can add a whole nother layer of energy and efficiency on top of what we're already in. And now we are in an energetically depleted state, which if you really want to live all out in your highest efficient way of living, this is not compatible. Like this is not going to get you there. And that is the difference between someone who is functioning at, let's say, the Olympic athlete level versus, let's say, a D1 college level. They've learned how to be so much more efficient with their energy, their time. If they're a track runner, with their stride, everything is precision, right? This is available to all of us. It's simple. It's in the language. It's in the way we see our day and the language and the story we are telling ourselves. But here's where it gets really, really good. This is where it gets really good. Is when we start to lean even further, where we go really to the ultimate level, in my opinion, up the ladder, and we go to desire. When we live from desire, we are tapping into an energy well that is endless, in my opinion. It is so deep, so vast, so potent that your life changes. I mean, like I can't even put into words how significant this is. To me, this is that sweet spot. This is the sweet spot where we see, like when you say an athlete and they say like the zone, like being in the zone, being in flow, that's where they are focused and dialed in, yet totally relaxed. It's this merger of both states of being. It's this interplay of our nervous system being relaxed, yet dialed in. And to me, the word desire gets us there, right? Desire gets us there because now we're no longer in the dopamine hit. Now we're no longer buffering. We are in the moment, present here in this state of being, really alive with the word desire. Desire, in my mind, has an equal sign to divine connection, which then has another equal sign to highest energetic expression. If we can get the mental software that's running everything up here in our brain into desire as its template, as the patterning that it's mostly living in, right? We're all human. We all have places where we drop into need and have to, and we come back out. Like that is a human experience. It's the difference of how long you stay there in need and have to, and how quickly you understand where you're at and get back into desire that shifts everything. And that's the difference of somebody who operates at an elite level and doesn't. That's where people say, when they truly listen, this is the deal. When somebody says to you, there's no such thing as failure, there's only learning. What they're really telling you in a very deep way is I live from desire because everything I desire to do. So even if it doesn't go my way, it's still amazing. Even if it doesn't happen the way I thought it would happen, it's still amazing because I desire to be there. The desire, the energy, the wellspring, the connection that's there allows for everything to be amazing. It's this crazy, cool entry point to life and to living and to truly what you really want. Most of us really, at the end of the day, like I said, it's not that we want our house to look a certain way or our kids to have a certain experience. We want connection. We desire connection. At the end of our life, when we're looking back We desire to do something that goes further than what we thought we could ever go. Need is not going to get you there. Want is probably not even going to get you there. Desire will get you there. The reason it will get you there is because when we say the word desire, and even listen to my voice, my body language, if you're watching this, like desire is like this, bam, my heart is open. My body is calm and relaxed. My forehead is open. My brain is not thinking. It's listening. It's receiving. It's being guided. It's in this beautiful connection to the divine where my inspiration's coming in and I'm taking action, right? It's this fascinating place of being present in the moment. You know, we all hear that, right? We all hear, be present, get present with your kids, you know, learn how to play and be present. What the heck does that mean? For most of us who have lived in the polar opposite end of the spectrum, where everything in our life was created through the energy of need, have to, right? Got to, must, should. The idea of being present in the moment seems like this awesome thing, but like it's like this mystical thing that you have no idea how to even accomplish or what it even feels like in your body. I'm giving you the path to that place. It is through the word desire. And if we can do this, what we do is we drop out of survival mode. We get into a state in our body neurologically where we feel safe, where we are calm, where we are relaxed, yet we are intently focused and intentionally living, right? It's this beautiful dynamic interplay with both sides of those spectrums working together. And I'm telling you, this is like, this is the money, people. This is where everything comes together. This is where your life shifts in a way that, like I said, you can't even make up. You absolutely cannot even make up. So I like to work in real-time energy. This is how I work with my clients. We go back and forth real time. Real time to me is where things happen, where things shift. It's very personalized, individualized is how I like to work. So today we're going to open up a little bit of a little workshop here with you if you choose to keep listening. Now, if you're driving, okay, pay attention, but maybe go back and really do this when you're sitting and maybe you're not listening to this driving a vehicle or something along those lines. But I really want to take this time that you're here, you're listening to this. If you're receptive to this, let's go. Let's do the work. Let's dive in. Let's get into your body and let's start feeling this. Let's start laying the groundwork to move out of need and have to into desire. And so I want to open up with the idea that we all have different associations to these words, to any word, to any language, to any tone of language, right? We all have different life experiences. We all have different energetic patterning within our body. And so the first thing we need to really honor is that what comes to me through the word need or want or desire, I'm giving you my lived experience and what I've witnessed, but I'm not you. And you need to take the time for you. When we stop getting out of generalities of blanket statements for everybody, and we really focus in on ourselves and what our individual body, our individual makeup is communicating to us and desiring from us, that's where we really start to get headway and make a lot of change in our life. So let's do a real-time exploration right now. What I'm going to do is ask you to take a deep breath, close your eyes, and get a little bit quiet. And I'm going to share some statements with you. And I want you to pay attention to how your body feels, okay? So as we enter into this, maybe think about something that is on your have-to list. Like that you really, like if you're looking at your day-to-day, that you're like, I have to, this needs to get done. That you know will lead to a positive result, right? But it may be really, if you're honest with yourself, in this energy. So maybe it's cleaning the house, maybe it's laundry, maybe it's paperwork for your job, maybe it's going to do something for the kids that isn't really on your, what you first really, really want to do. Maybe it's the grocery store, maybe it's your workout, maybe it's exercise and movement that you feel like I got to get it in, I'm on the training schedule, got to get it in, whatever that is. Hold that task in your mind for a minute and just sit with it. And as I say these words, just reflect on how your body feels. I need to get the groceries. I have to get the dishes done. I need to get the laundry. I should go do that paperwork. Enter in whatever words fit for you, but allow it to wash over your body. as an exploration without judgment, just for an assessment to understand. What does your body feel like? What sensations do you feel in your head, in your neck, in your chest, in your belly? Does it feel grounded and deep and connected? Does it feel very superficial in your body? Very kind of only on the surface layer? Does this feel very familiar? Do you know this energy very well? Do you spend a lot of your day here? So take that in. And now hear these words. I want to go to the grocery store. I would like to get the dishes done. I want to do the laundry. I would like to do that paperwork. As you hear my voice and go inward into your words, how does your body feel now? What sensations do you feel in your head, in your neck? Check in with your chest and your belly. Feel the difference. Can you feel your energy expanding a bit? Can you feel it being a little bit more deep, a little bit more connected? Is it possible that actually you notice that you start to think, well, I do want to do this because, right? I want to go to the grocery store because I'm going to have healthy food for the week. That shift alone, if you're starting to feel or sense or know or hear the thought lines, right, of one more layer, right? That's the few more bricks we're laying. We're starting to get out of survival mode and starting to see the bigger picture. We're starting to help our body feel safe because now we're taking into account what we truly want. We're asking ourselves to be a part of the equation. We're asking ourselves to step into the factoring in of what we do and we don't do. Now let's go one more layer. I deeply desire to go to the grocery store. I desire to do the dishes. I desire to fold the laundry. I desire to complete the paperwork. Check in again. How do these words feel? What sensations do you feel in your belly and in your chest, in your head, in your throat? Maybe if you're like me, they don't feel as tight. They don't feel as heavy. Are you finding yourself really wanting to associate the word because or a second layer after this? Like, no, I desire to get the paperwork done because I know the clients are going to really love this and it's going to be an amazing experience for the whole team, right? Bam. That's a whole different layer, right? That is deep. That is rich. That is multiple bricks being laid on the plane, on the pathway, right? That is starting to see the trajectory of where we're going. And when we can start seeing the trajectory of where we're going, the fight or flight eases. We start to feel even more safe, even more connected. We stop getting into figuring it out mode, which is very heavy in the need, have to energy. And we start getting into receptive mode where we allow ourselves to be guided. We allow ourselves to pray and ask for guidance and receive the guidance. And where we start to allow things to be better than what we thought they could be. That's the difference of desire versus need. And when we're in that space, we are so energetically efficient. To me, when I say the words energetically efficient, it is like the biggest gift of self-love we can give ourselves. If we know how to move in a way in our life that feels good to us, that's like is us, right? What more can we give ourselves, right? Like that's just, to me, is now become a non-negotiable. I didn't know that 7-8 years ago, but I know it now. And I really feel the difference when I'm in need and have to versus desire. Because a lot of my day is spent now in desire. There's so much more room to grow. Do not get me wrong. But it's to the point now where when I can feel the when I'm in need and have to energy and I want out. Like I want out. I feel it instantaneously. And it's a good sign, right? It's a good sign because before there was no difference. That was like the gray scale that covered my whole entire life. And so I'm offering to you that this is truly available to anyone, even you, if this is something you want. So here's how we do this. There's a couple key points here of ways inward to start developing this shift to rewrite the programming from need and have to into want and then into desire. The first thing you can do is what I call like a language study. This is with no judgment. This is just literally allowing yourself to be aware of what's actually happening. Pay attention. Pay attention to what you're thinking, what you're saying. You could ask your spouse or a coworker, maybe your kids, to like, how many times do you hear me say need or have to or should, right? Pay attention, jot down your thoughts throughout the day, right? You can set a timer and just really do what's called thought download, where you just write what you're thinking real quick for a couple minutes, do it multiple times a day, and just start seeing what's actually in there, right? No judgment. This is just seeing what the actual code or the computer software is. The next way in, if that feels good to you or doesn't, then you can also pay attention to how your body's feeling. And that's why I walked you through this exercise, is so that you start to connect the words to how you internally feel, not how I'm telling you should feel or how other people feel, but how you feel. So now you have a calibration. You have the calibration, and you can go back through this and listen to this multiple times if that's helpful to you, where you can now feel, okay, this is how my body feels when I'm in need energy. This is how my body feels when I'm in want. This is how my body feels when I'm in desire. And you can use that to study your day and kind of do like a study that way of like starting to pay attention. And then the second layer to that way is you can just ask yourself, what am I thinking when I'm feeling this? Right? And starting to pay attention real time to what's actually really happening from a place of love and understanding and just having a relationship with what's really here. No judgment, no problem. There's nothing to solve. This is actually from a place of pure curiosity and fascination. Once we get to that place, then we can enter into what I call like replacement, where you're catching yourself saying something. Okay, no judgment. Oh man, I have to go do the dishes. No, okay, stop. Okay, I desire to do the dishes. And I desire to do the dishes because like I really like it when my house is clean. Or I desire to do the dishes because when all my kids come home and we have 2 baseball games this afternoon, it's going to make my life a lot easier. That's loving to me to do for that. So that when we are trying to move a little bit at a faster pace and get out the door, things are taken care of. That's loving to me. I desire to do that for myself, right? Not to say I have a clean house or to prove something or anything else, right? But there's a deeper layer of connection to how that action is serving the bigger picture of my life, my bigger goals, my bigger ways of living that I really, really desire, right? The other way you can enter into this that I find is extremely helpful is working with a coach who has deep listening skills, because sometimes these patterns are so ingrained in us that we even say them and we don't hear them. Like they're just so normal. You really have to slow down, like really, really slow down to hear them. But it's also very efficient to have somebody point them out to you. And I would say if you find somebody who's an intuitive coach who senses the energy under the words, who you may be saying something like, that's how I'm feeling on this end, right? Like I'm feeling that even though you're saying that, there's this energy underneath it, and can pick that out for you so that you spot it. You then have the ability to replace it if you choose. And it becomes an efficient way of making these transitions. For me, that has been night and day. That has been so helpful because I tend to be an analytical thinker. I tend to have a lot of logic circuitry in my brain. I have a defined head and ajna in human design concept. And so sometimes you just dance past the program because the program is just so concrete. But when somebody's there showing you the program, you now really have a lot of good entry points and high productive value to sink your teeth into to make these shifts happen. So today, my goal has been, my desire has been to talk about something that I find absolutely fascinating, which is language. And in 3 simple words, what can shift in our life? Like truly, what can shift in our life? It's so simple, yet so incredibly potent. And I really invite you to enter into this. Go back and listen to the little exercise we did. Go back and listen to the entry points in. Do a study of your language. Ask somebody to help you. Dive in because you deserve a life that's this good. You deserve a life. I believe it's our birthright to have a life of desire. We all have the capability within us. It's here. It's built into us. It's built in to this beautiful machinery we walk around in our physical body. Let's use it. So keep going. You're doing a great job, and I'll talk to you soon. Hey there. If you've enjoyed this episode, this discussion about language and living a life we truly desire, and how I like to interplay with language and be able to shift everything in our life very simply, I can help you do that. This is one of the things that I truly love about this relationship I have with my clients. And I invite you to that. Schedule a free consult with me. Let's talk about it. Let's see where you are in need and have to energy and where you really, really, really desire to go. Do this by emailing me at erica@theawakeningtide.com. And if this episode really lit you up, it struck something within you, please follow along, share it, or pass along to somebody you know who really, really would enjoy this message.